Okay, so you should have gotten these 4 answers. So the first one you should have gotten 1 and 13/14. Again, you're just plugging the whole thing in your calculator. Here, plug it in, you should have gotten negative 13/16. Number 3 is just 1. And number 4, you should have gotten, remember, a negative divided by negative is a positive, okay? So the last little thing we are going to do, guys, is comparing. So you need to know the difference between these two symbols, okay? Now, one is less than, one is greater than. So how do you know the difference? Well, I'm going to tell you something. Look at the screen right now. Tilt your head to the right. So if I look at this, tilt your head to the right. Which one resembles an L? Is it this one or this one? Right. If you're tilting your head to the right and you're looking, yes, this resembles an L. So that is less than. This would then be your greater than. Okay. The other thing to remember, back old school, let's throw you back to elementary school. Remember the alligator, or I like Mrs. Pac-Man because girls are awesome. The alligator or the Pac-Man, remember, always eats the bigger number. Okay, so you're probably thinking to yourself, why are we going through all this? Well, because we're dealing with rational numbers now. So looking at this, here is where we have to compare a decimal and a fraction. Now, I'm going to tell you, in my experience, it is much, 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 much easier to compare decimals. So we don't want to change them to all fractions. What we want to do to make things easier is we want to change everything to decimals, okay? And what I like to do, a nice little hint, is to always have the same number of decimal places. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep this decimal the same, and then you're going to put 7 divided by 9 in your calculator. And you're going to see that is set 0.7 repeating. Now, I'm not going to run it out. I don't want to extend it 0.77777. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it 0, and I'm only going to extend it twice. That way you are comparing 2 digits to 2 digits, okay? And since 81 is bigger than 77, we're going to put a greater than symbol, meaning it's eating the larger number or pointing to the smaller number, okay? Same thing here. We have 5.3. Now, remember, you don't need to make this a mixed number or an improper fraction. Just put 1 divided by 3 in your calculator. And when you do that, you get 5.3 repeating. Now, don't stop here because, look, then you're going to, you possibly put, sorry, you might put, that's a 3 here. You might think that's equal, and it's not. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend that 1 more. And then what we can do here is, you should know this, anytime you want to make a number bigger without changing the value, you add a 0. Okay? So now if you look, you're comparing 33 to 30. And again, that is going to be your larger value. Okay? So make sure you understand that 0.3 ending is smaller than 0.33333. So it's nice to, though, have those same number of decimal places. It makes it a little easier. All right, the last thing you need to be able to do is graph them on a number line and write them in order. Graphing them on a number line helps put them in order because a number line goes from small to large. So here we have a whole bunch of numbers, except for we have some fractions here, and it's so much easier to make them decimals. So let's just go ahead and we're going to graph the first one. So we have negative 3.15. So this number is between these two numbers, right? But it's much, much closer to negative 3. So we're going to make it right there, put it right there. All right, let me erase that. Okay, next one is 0.9. So we know 0.9 is almost 1 here. We have 4, easy. Now, we have negative 5/4. Well, when you put negative 5 divided by 4, you're going to get 1.25. And that's a 5. So now that's between negative 1 and negative 2. Here is 1.5, negative 1.5, so we wanted a little closer. We're going to put it here. Then we have 3 halves. That's 1.5 if you plug that in your calculator right here. And then negative, and again, put 1 divided by 3, you get 0.3 repeating. So now that is real. These two are really close together. This one is a little smaller because 25 is less than 33. So we're going to make that one about right here. And then you just write them in order from least to greatest. Okay, that's all you have to do. So the main goal of this is to understand that when you have a mixture of decimals and fractions, I would make them all decimals. I think it's much easier. So you're going to go on to your next slide, do a couple of problems, and then you will have your homework. Thanks.